We are united in going after Trump. And you know what their attitude is? I made my money all by myself. How dare your government take my money from me? I don't want to pay taxes. Or, I built my company with my bare hands. How dare your government tell me how I should treat my customers, the land and water that I own, or my employees. They hate government. Government's a barrier to people, a barrier to stop them from doing things. They want to destroy it. We are not letting them do it, and we're united.
Chuck Schumer had to try to recover his public image on one of his favorite shows, The View, one of our favorite shows, The View, and he gets caught with some bad one-liners that are not doing him any good, especially while he's having to postpone his book tour because all the liberals are pissed about what he did with the spending vote. He's trying to recover that public image. Does he do that well with it, though? What do you think? It's SHANDaniel here, reporting from South Taiwan in a hostel bed. Still have my bed head, and yet I still look better than Chuck Schumer. If you like the video, consider liking or subscribing. Let's go, Chuck.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's sudden change of heart about the Republican spending bill helped avoid government shutdown, but opened him up to some harsh criticism and questions about his leadership from his own party. And here to tell us why he did it is Chuck Schumer.
Thank you.
He's also the author of the new book, Anti-Semitism in America, A Warning.
Really? That's the title of the book? Come on, man.
Please welcome Senator Chuck.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm just gonna throw it out there. Why?
Great.
What were you thinking and why?
Okay. So look, I knew it was a difficult choice, and I knew that I'd get a lot of criticism for my choice. But I felt as a leader I had to do it. Here's why. The CR bill was bad, no question. And it allowed a slush fund, which allowed money to be pushed around.
Explain it for the people who don't know what
There's
CR means.
CR means
and what you did.
continue the government spending.
Right.
A shutdown, the alternative is cut off the government spending. And here's what would happen if we cut off government spending. It would be devastation like we have never seen.
Worse than we're seeing now?
Much. Here's why. That's why I did it. I wasn't going to take this flack just for having a lot of fun. The bottom line is a government shutdown works like this. All government spending is stopped, all. And then the executive branch, Trump, Musk, DOGE, and this really evil man people don't know about, Vote, who's head of OMB, his name is Vote.
What's
would
OMB?
have
What does OMB mean?
OMB is the Office of Management Budget, which determines the spending. And they could cut off anything they want simply by saying it's not essential. So, day 2, SNAP, food for poor kids, not essential. Day 4, mass transit, New York City subway and subways all over, not essential. Day 7, Medicaid, not essential. People don't need Medicaid, they should get their own health care. And this would happen over and over and over again, and there's no check. The biggest problem is that it has been determined that the courts have no say. And the only say is the executive branch. Now, in the old days, when there was a shutdown, they'd work it out. But this is a different, horrible kettle of fish. They hate the government. They want to shut down everything. You heard what Musk said, $2 trillion. And so this would have been so devastating. And here's the second part that's maybe just as bad. There's no exit strategy. How do you get out of a shutdown? Guess who determines it? Trump, Musk, DOGE. They're the only ones. And one of the Republican senators told one of the Democratic senators, you get in this, we're staying in for 6 months, 9 months, a year, till we decimate the entire federal government.
Can I do a follow-up question?
And you know why they're scared, the Democrats, about that? Because they don't want to lose control of how money flows because of so much money that does flow to them, possibly, allegedly, through these different NGOs that are funded, through these different overseas organizations that get government funding, through all these different slush funds and different funds that deal with hush money and stuff like that, let alone all the money and government contracts that go to different people. Now, I'm not saying Elon Musk has not gotten benefit from great government contracts to his companies. That's not talked about enough on the right. But they don't want Trump to start cutting stuff because it's going to affect them. Not because, a government shutdown and money to other citizens. They don't give a crap about that, and we know that.
Yes.
Quickly,
So wait,
if
it
you- go
it
ahead.
was so bad that I felt I had to do this. Now, it's not happening immediately, but what does a leader do? When you're a leader, if you see a real crisis a little bit down the road, your job is to stand up and say, we cannot do that. And that's what I did.
Mind you, Chuck Schumer, look at his face. He did not want the government to shut down when Trump was trying to get the border wall in 2019. He was one of the main leaders that fought and fought and fought and fought and fought. Because he did not want Trump to go forward with getting funding for his border wall. He was saying, do you want to shut down the government without getting the border? Okay, he stood in the way of that, and he kept pushing and pushing for the government budget to be extended, not changed, so the border wall would not be funded. Don't forget that.
Mention, this is what a leader does. And we were just talking in our last segment about we aren't seeing a clear leader of the party, because even though I agree with you with your decision, and I see why, but you were only able to get 9 Democrats to go with you. How is that leadership?
Why?
Okay. Look, the bottom line is there were a whole lot of Democrats who were torn, and they on the one hand, people were clamoring, do something now, do something now. Now, do we have to act and do we have to fight these Republicans, this right-wing group,
the MAGA.
not all Republicans, every step of the way? But do it in the smartest way possible. If you're fighting them and then you end up in this shutdown, let me tell you something. If we ended up a shutdown 3 weeks from now, people would come to me and they'd say, they just cut off my Medicaid. They just got rid of my veterans benefits. Stop it. And I say, we can't, we're in a shutdown. And then they'd say to me, why did you let the shutdown happen?
Yeah.
So a lot of people responded to the anguish. I appreciate it. I am I wake up 3 in the morning sometimes, so worried about the future of the country under these oligarchs or klepto, whatever, or, oligarchs, I guess.
Yes.
And
No, he wakes up scared out of his mind that he's going to lose his extra money, his benefits from lobbyists that he's able to help. That's what he's worried about, his paycheck. Give me a break, Chucky Chuck.
But you've got to find, we are fighting them tooth and nail in every way we can, but you got to fight them smart. And if you led yourself into a shutdown, which they, by the way, Musk, DOGE, Vote, they want a shutdown. They said they wanted a shutdown.
Well,
and they thought we'd play into their hands. This guy, Vote, who's head of the Office of Management Budget, has a whole list of what he wants to cut. And the Republican dream, not the Republican dream, the MAGA right-wing Republican dream of decimating the government, you know why they do it? They want tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans.
Right.
They want to destroy government, give all the money to the wealthy, and get rid of any regulations that they might have. So I felt an obligation to stop.
But if you're right, if what you're saying is true, how do you explain the fact that Friday Trump publicly congratulated you for this decision? He said you did the right thing.
Yes.
He said your decision, quote unquote, took guts and courage. Was he trying to trick you?
Troll me.
He's trolling.
He was trolling me. I know this guy.
It's so confusing, though.
Well,
people are reading that.
He's trying to confuse people. He always tries to confuse people. He tries to hide what he does, and by the way, that's another. You know, we Democrats are fighting them very hard. And what are we fighting them on? Today, we have a Medicaid Day of Action. Hakeem and I have set this up for the Senate and House. And we have senators and congressmen going to all different parts of their states and districts talking about how bad the Medicaid cut would be and why give tax cuts to take that money away from people, average folks, and give it to the very wealthy. God almighty, these guys are rich enough. God bless them. They don't need more money. But
It's funny that's the argument, which could be pointed out because you see Elon Musk has been fighting for government contracts. One example, he's trying to strip away the Verizon government contract with, I believe, the FAA in order to get Starlink to get that government contract. So yes, he's trying to benefit himself. Different big guys in the Republican Party want to benefit themselves, but so do the Democrats. They act like they don't do this. Also, Trump has now proposed no income taxes for people under $150,000 in annual income. That sounds pretty good to me.
But they're so greedy. But wait, so Trump he tries to hide all this. He tries to hide all this about talking about Greenland or changing the name to the Gulf of America. This is another way of him trolling.
Distracting.
Distracting.
Yes.
Senator, I want to ask you, because I actually do agree with your decision to keep government open. I think no one wins. It costs the economy billions of dollars. Federal workers are left in the lurch in a shutdown. But I'm a Republican. I'm not really your core constituency.
They're very nice. I have a lot of relatives who are Republicans.
There are many nice ones. But some of the progressive members of your caucus are not, the House caucus are not with you. Jasmine Crockett questioned your leadership. Hakeem Jeffries dodged a question about your alignment over this and obviously voted the other direction. There seems to be a disconnect between the younger generation and some of the newly elected Democrats and yours. Do you believe that the party has confidence in you to continue to serve as its leader? And as somebody who is influential in helping Biden's decision to step aside, do you think it might be time for you to?
No. I think that, my Senate first, you asked who's the leader. When we don't have a president, there are a lot of leaders. We have a lot of really strong talent in the Senate, in the House, in the governors. We have a great bench. But as for the Senate caucus, of which I'm the leader, I should be the leader. And let me just say this. One of the things I am known to be very good at is how to win Senate seats. In other words, I'm a strategist in terms of recruiting candidates, helping the candidates run campaigns and win it. Look, winning in 2026 in the House and Senate, which could stop Trump once and for all, is vitally important. Okay, so I did this in 2005, but just recently, in 2020, everyone said they'll never get the Senate. And we pulled off something that many people regarded as a huge surprise. We won the 2 seats in Georgia. We got John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, the first African-American ever elected in Georgia in 100 years, or a long period of time. And so I am good at that. But second, I'm sort of the orchestra leader, and I have a lot of talent in that orchestra. So what I do is I show them off. We have some great spokespeople, people like Chris Murphy and Brian Schatz. We have, Democrats are learning to do the digital social media much better than we did before. I put Cory Booker and Tina Smith in charge. And then we have Bernie going out to Republican areas and doing rallies and rallying. So we have a load of talent in our caucus, and I'll tell you one thing. We are totally united in one thing. Many things, but one thing above all. We are united in going after Trump and showing the American people that he is making the middle class pay for the tax cuts on the rich.
Right.
Today, we're doing it on Medicaid. We're going to do it very soon on the tariffs. He wants to put these tariffs in. It's going to raise you folks, the average family, $22,000 a year for these tariffs. Why is he doing that? Something so stupid.
Why?
He never raised one finger over all of the government taxpayer money that went to illegals that could then make our cost of living higher. Not once. Not once.
He wants to use that money for tax cuts for the billionaires. The Republican Party is a different kettle of fish than it used to be. And that's why we're fighting them so hard. They are controlled by a small group of wealthy, greedy people. And you know what their attitude is? I made my money all by myself. How dare your government take my money from me? I don't want to pay taxes. Or, I built my company with my bare hands. How dare your government tell me how I should treat my customers, the land and water that I own, or my employees. They hate government. Government's a barrier to people, a barrier to stop them from doing things. They want to destroy it. We are not letting them do it, and we're united.
What did he just say?
The land and order.
What did he just say? Yes, that's exactly what we want as American citizens. We don't want the government coming in and taking us for ridiculous taxes. I got to pay a self-employment tax. I got to pay payroll taxes. So every time money changes hands, we got to keep paying taxes. Income taxes came because of the World War to pay for that. And then more wars kept coming, so we had to justify income taxes. No! Bro, you just did a whole campaign ad for what Republicans truly believe, which is right. And you, as a Democrat, want to take this stance. No, we want to keep government. Government needs to come in, take more money, control how your businesses function. That's a losing campaign, Chucky Chuck. If you guys enjoyed the video, consider subscribing or hitting the like button or watching another video right here. It's Sean Daniel from South Taiwan, and I will see you in the next one.